Today we're going to go over decimal grids, what they mean, how they work, and just what problems you might see with them. I might actually cover these in a few different videos just because there's kind of a decent amount to go over. So basically, let's just go over the basics of decimal grids first. So how these work is typically the problem will kind of show you something like this, okay? And then it'll say this whole thing, okay, this square is equal to 1, right? And then, so basically, if this is equal to 1, and there are 10 parts of it, then each part is equal to a tenth, right? And here is another version, okay, where this is obviously broken into 100, right? So it is basically 10, this one has 10 columns, so this has 10 columns, no rows. This has 10 columns and 10 rows, which makes 100 little blocks, and that would end up being hundredths. Okay, so that, so each one of these little squares is equal to 1/100th, right? So for this, each line is equal to 1/10, or 0.1 is how you would write that, and each one of these is equal to 1/100th. Now, if you know how decimals work, you can see, okay, so let's just fill that in. So that would be 1/10. Now, and that would be, okay, so that's 1/10, and this one is 1/100th filled in. Now, what I can do is fill out 10 of these, and then this is, once again, 1/10, and this is 10 1/100ths, or 1/10. They are exactly equal, and as you can see, they cover up exactly one column, right? So it makes sense that they would be equal. So decimal grids are definitely a good way to show how tenths and hundredths are equivalent, right? Because one column in this one is equal to one column in this one. It's the same thing. So that's kind of an overview of how these decimal grids work. You might even find a decimal grid where each one of these is then broken into 10. It's probably going to have to be bigger, otherwise you wouldn't really be able to see what was going on. And that would be, each of those would be worth 1,000th. I don't have that in this picture, but basically it's the same. It would be the same sort of thing. But yeah, if you could imagine each one of these squares kind of split up, maybe like that, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Obviously, I did not do a good job, but if it was, each one of the squares was split in half, and then like this, each one would be split into 10, and then that would be 1,000, right? Because if you split 100 squares into 10 each, then 100 times 10 would be 1,000. So just remember that this could be, you could see 1,000 grid, but it's pretty much the same principle. So that's just a brief overview of decimal grids, and we will go on to using these in a little more depth in some future videos.